Well, hello, friends. Good evening. So happy to be here with you guys on a Monday night. Thank you for joining me. And looks like a lot of you already beat me to it. Tanya, you're already on 100% natural. What's going on? Monique, how are you doing? Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me double check and make sure the audio is on. Yeah, looks like it's on. You guys should be able to hear me. What's going on, Taylor? How are you? Tanya, having connection issues. That's no good. Hi, Mrs. E. I'm glad you made it here. KK Bootsy, what's going on? Anita, how are you? Now I can. Good. It's good to see you guys. Happy Monday. Hope you guys had a good weekend. And hope you guys are having a great start to the week. Howdy from hot Fort Worth. Yes, it's hot here too, D-Doll. It is extremely hot out in the Midwest. And it's been raining too, off and on. Guys, we're going to have a great show tonight. We're going to talk to you about... Tonight we're going to be talking about exposing the narcissist. This is a good one, and I've already made an organic video that I'm going to be uploading later this week to go along with this. So we're going to talk about exposing the narcissist, okay? This is going to be good. So before we get into that, and give you guys an opportunity to come on in and say hi to everybody. I'm so glad that you guys are here on a Monday night. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Let me go ahead and get over here to connect the screens. As I said, we are going to be talking tonight about exposing narcissistic abuse, exposing narcissists. This is a huge deal for us, especially coming out of narcissistic abuse. We want to be able to expose the lies. We want to be able to expose them. We want to see this exposure take place. And I've got this. It hit me, and I got it because I've exhausted myself trying to do this, and I'm sure you guys have as well. And so, if this is your first time to the Royal We Live, I want to thank you so much for being here. The Royal We Live is a community-supported live event, and so this is brought to you by the Patreon members. Thank you for everybody who has become a Patreon member of the Royal We. I do have some videos that I am putting together. They're almost done. I need to get them up there and fulfill my end of the deal on Patreon. But it's a more of personal information that I'm putting on Patreon for you guys. But consider visiting Patreon, join the Royal We, and support this live channel. The goal is with 300 Patreons to go live every single night and be a community of support here on a nightly basis for people who are in need. So be sure to check that out. This is your first time here in the Royal We Live. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. This is the only live channel that the Royal We is going to be doing. Be sure to hit the bell notification so you know when we're going live. And also, the point of this is to connect. The telephone is on. So make that connection. Either connect with the moderators here, connect with the community, ask questions, get the answers you're looking for, find the support. That's the purpose of this Royal We community. We're here for you. And so make sure you make that connection. Now then, let me introduce the moderators to you. The mod squad of the Royal We have Taylor, who puts the dream in the dream team. Blue is here to link you up. Tanya gives the best virtual hugs on the internet. And D-Doll is the queen of the one-liners. These are your moderators, and they're here to welcome you, support you, answer any question, and they'll be around to say hi to you guys. So be sure to give them a lot of love for giving of their time to want to be a part of your life and a part of your healing as well. All right, now with that, I'm going to go ahead and get into the topic for tonight. So this is a video that I've already shot organically, and it has to do with exposing the narcissist. And the reason this came about is because of, I've been on this kick, guys, of trying to identify anger, dealing with anger coming out of narcissistic abuse, trying to identify what the anger is all about. I know a lot of you and a lot of people out there struggle with anger, struggle with flashbacks, struggle with the CPTSD, struggle with the trauma, and are just struggling to try and figure this all out. So what started with the anger video and understanding that the anger is normal, the anger is natural, it's a part of your human nature to want to fix and find a solution. I followed that video up with getting revenge, which I just posted today. Hope you guys had an opportunity. You ladies and gentlemen, had an opportunity to watch it. I posted it probably an hour ago on the organic channel. And it is about revenge and how to get revenge but maintain your integrity. And so tonight I want to talk to you about exposing the narcissist, exposing the lies. And I've already shot this video, but here's the deal with exposing the narcissist. This is why you're not going to be able to, there is a way to expose them. Okay, but again, just like the revenge, it's not going to look the way you think. Okay, when you want to expose the narcissist, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Narcissists lie. This is part of what they do. Lie, cheat, steal, manipulate. Trying to expose a lie is nearly impossible, okay, when it comes to dealing with narcissists, because lies morph into a new lie. And there's an infinite amount of morphing and transitions that lies can go from. This is why it's so exhausting to be involved with narcissists, because you just can't keep up with their lies. And when you think you got them, they twist it with a slight different angle to take it down a different path, to confuse the situation. And so before you know it, you're chasing your tail and you're trying to shine a light on all these little lies. It's like putting out small fires all over the place. And you can become exhausted trying to put out all these little fires and all these little lies. It just doesn't work. It will exhaust you. It will destroy you if your angle is trying to expose the lies, trying to expose the narcissist manipulations, if you're trying to expose the things that they do. It's going to drive you nuts. But there is something that you can do. There is something that you can expose that will automatically expose all the lies, all the important ones. And this, again, has everything to do with you. And it comes down to exposing the truth. Instead of trying to expose the lies of the narcissist, it'd be better if we start exposing the truth. And if you expose the truth, because the truth is never changing, the truth is solid, the truth is the truth. It doesn't change, it doesn't bend, it doesn't morph, it doesn't go on a string of infinite amounts of changing. It's just the truth. And so if you expose the truth has the power to then to light up and suddenly expose all the lies. If you just focus on exposing the truth will then expose the lies. I hope that you're following me on this. We get caught up in this game with narcissists where we're trying to expose all their lies. We don't need to do that. We simply need to expose the truth. I'm going to give you an example out of my own life. This is something that I wanted to put on Patreon, but I'm going to share it with you. And one of the ways in which I actually... Oh, we got a telephone call from Pennsylvania. Give me 1 second, Pennsylvania. Let me go ahead and finish my thought, and then we'll be right with you, okay? And but real quick, I had dealt with a lot of lies from in-laws and from siblings and family members, if that's what you want to call them. I don't refer to them as family members, but I dealt with a lot of that stuff. And I got caught up in wanting to fire back and expose the lies and say, nuh-uh, that's not true. Nuh-uh, that's not true. Nuh-uh, that's not true. But I found myself constantly... it would be with everything they say, and I would constantly be on the defense because you can't expose them. It's too much. You just can't keep up with it. Liars, that's what they do. They just lie. And the siblings that I was dealing with are liars. It's plain and simple. They're just liars and truth benders, and they do all this stuff. And so I decided that instead of trying to expose their lies, what I'm going to do is start speaking the truth. And so I did. I started speaking the truth about my life, about my just the joy, the love, this and that. And I guarantee you, I saw this. This is actually real. I started living this, exposing the truth of my life on social media, and what I enjoy and what I'm doing. And the narcissists just disappear. They just run. They can't deal with it. They can't deal with the life. They can't deal with the truth and the exposing the truth and your joy. And that's why I put this in the end of this revenge video. It's absolutely true. I've seen it work. Exposing your joy and your truth will cause narcissists to run. They can't deal with that because no lie they can make will go against what truth is being shown. It just can't. So let me go ahead and go to this call real quick. You still there, Pennsylvania? How are you?
Yes, I am. Hello. How are you?
Good. Thanks for calling. You're the first caller.
Yes. I'll take that as a compliment. I broke in first here. My name is Antonio Silva. I've just recently been interacting with you over the last few days as I discovered you and this community. And boy, I am thankful to God because He's right on time, because I have been experiencing this over the last 7 months, dealing with a manipulative and abusive woman.
Yeah.
It's just it's a romantic element, if you will.
Absolutely. Very familiar with that, and you've come to the right place. This is the community for that. So welcome, welcome to the Royal We family. I know that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure you're really going through it right now, and it's good to hear. And first of all, let it be known too. And predominantly the Royal We is predominantly women. However, it's important to say that men go through this just as much as the women do. And I know that the women here know that. They know that. I'm sure the women here know women who are probably extremely vicious. And so, and this it's a reality, and it's really difficult because when you have a man going through a situation such as what you're going through, especially an empathic man, because there's a lot of men who are unempathetic, as you know, and very abusive. But when you are an empathetic man and you're strong, but your desires for peace, so you embody meekness, and this is something that we wrestle with because there are a lot of narcissistic women who want to push that and challenge that. It's almost as if they desire to bring out of you the hostility.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they have this desire, and it's a real wicked desire. They want to see it. It's like you bring it out. And this is where you got to be careful, because you bring it out and then you get yourself in all kinds of trouble.
I mean, from a different perspective, per se, from a spiritual perspective, it's almost as if that wicked desire to draw that out is almost unto trying to draw out the old man that has been put to rest, and the new has come, yet that old man is being drawn back out. And I learned that firsthand, and it's almost unto a more practical sense that it's like calling, the tactic of basically this the reverse mind control, reverse I can't get the word, like reverse psychology is like if me being meek, wanting to be at peace, is somehow not a manly quality. Like somehow, you got to be man up. You're a coward if you don't want to deal with what we got to deal with. You know what I mean? Like, well, I'm not dealing with your anger.
And this is and this is the twist of culture. This is a society twisted lie. Okay, because the reality is, if we look at the ancient understanding in the ancient text, you can open up the book of Proverbs, one of my favorite books, and Proverbs.
Yes.
Yeah, Proverbs was given by the ancient Hebraic people, and they say time and time again, it's written in Proverbs, better and much better and stronger is a man who's patient than a man who takes a city. And so it has a lot to say of being slow to anger, and the patient man. And if you even look at the story of the example of Jesus in the New Testament of the Bible, he embodied that. If you think about it, in the story, you have this character who can miraculously heal people, who had the power to cast out demonic entities, who had the power to raise someone from the dead, who claimed to be the son of the Creator, yet he went through this horrible beating and this onslaught. And so if you talk about, and I struggled with that story. I hated the story. I did. After I experienced narcissistic abuse, I said that's the worst story ever. Why would somebody endure all this stuff? It's not fair. It's not right. It made me it made me hate humanity. And I think and that's where a lot of us are at. We're all of a sudden like, whoa, people can be really whacked out here, right? And
really eye-opening.
Yeah, and so,
Yeah.
but you realize that there's something to this, the being patient, the being slow to anger,
Mm-hmm.
because ultimately this is a journey about you. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
This whole journey of experiencing narcissistic abuse is about the perfection of you and what you have to
Glory to
go
God. Thank
through,
you.
to perfect you. It's really
Mm-hmm.
what this is about.
And I'm learning that the hard way right now. Is again, I will share that this coming weekend, save any unforeseen, out of our control or out of our control incidents, the process of detachment will be completed because of extenuating circumstances that have her having items here that need to be retrieved because they're rightfully hers. So then she can be gone out of my life. And this needs to happen. I'm as excited as I was after the initial meeting and what is now I've learned the term love bombing. As
Right.
excited as I was to hear from her as that was being built up in me, is now the excitement for her to leave because I need the time now to begin the process of the recovery, the healing, and basically to try to go through the purification of all the gunk and junk that was dumped on me that basically now leaves me departed from who I truly am. I was one of peace and meek and calm and kind, and I can get to that again. It's just I
Yes.
have a lot of anger and rage. It's like, and I'm listening to some of your videos, and well, I've actually watched a whole lot of them over the last few days. I mean, almost all of them is that the case, and just to get this that insight. And obviously, you've experienced it in a different a different level of things. It was from, as I understand, in-laws for you, for me, intimate in terms of relational. It's just in terms of romantic. I'm like, but yet it's just like wow. It's like it's right on time, and I'm feeling I need it. I know it's almost like it was almost like a transaction unto investing time and my emotion to her. She got a withdrawal, and she deposited hers to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like one of them, like almost like a movie, the movie concept of like people switching, bodies and their essences switching. Like that's basically what it feels like.
Oh yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
how it was, yeah, it's like, yeah, transferences occurred almost. And you actually said in one of your videos, like when you first experienced that 180, when you were first love bombed or flattered and gifted and all that, and then that total 180, it's like you felt like something entering you. That wasn't
Absolutely.
supposed to be there.
Oh yeah.
That's what to me. It was like again, you used the like unto like a demon. That's what because it was
Yeah.
a foreign, a foreign a reaction, a foreign feeling. It was not, and then you just if you don't know what you're dealing with and you get lost and you get it's just until you wake up. And basically, I would like to say the turning point for me, or the point of no return, though it's been a little lingering since, and now we've hit the point where now it's over. Is basically it turned from verbal and emotional to actually it did get physical, where she perpetrated physical. Like I'm like, wait a minute.
This is where
to me it was where like God reached through her because she doesn't remember doing it, and she it's like God, like, wake up! What are you doing? This is not it no more. You're not supposed to. And to what you've said before, I've heard you say plenty of times. I had no business being with her.
Yeah, you've got to get out of it. Even with my situation, with the dealing with the siblings, with the in-laws, it started to go that route, and
right.
And yeah, there's that moment where the hatred just jumps into you. You feel it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it pierces you.
Yeah.
The narcissistic stare. They have the stare. It goes.
Right through you.
It shifts from them enjoying your company to this presence of this hatred and this disgust, and then you're just questioning, why am I even here? What are we doing here? But yet you continue to be together. It doesn't make sense. They continue to want your presence, but it's for a different reason now. Now it's to show you how much they hate you. And when you try to fight back, yes, it can absolutely lead to aggression. It did with me. There was situations at the in-laws and where parties were going on, and I had drinks thrown at me, and it was just wild.
Gosh.
Yeah, I was out of a little fit of rage, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done. I'm out. I'm not dealing with this. And that's when I decided we're not going back. I'm not putting my kids in that environment, because when you deal with this, you have to be smart, And I get questions a lot. In fact, somebody came onto my organic channel today, and it was somebody who was, every now and then, not a lot, but every now and then we'll get people who come in and say, why are you guys talking about narcissism, blah blah blah, What about people
Right.
who really have mental illnesses and this and that? And that was one of the comments I had on a video that I read this morning. What about people who have
Mhm.
mental illnesses and this and that? And what you're promoting can tear apart families. Well, you know what? Listen, the name calling, the fighting, and the
Oh yeah.
throwing things is what tears apart families.
Exactly.
It's not getting away from it. That can not only save the family, but it can save people's lives. Because
Pretty much.
when
Yes.
people get into these these disorders, mental
Right.
illness or not, people can get hurt physically,
Right.
mentally, emotionally. It's better to get out. It's better to go no contact.
Taking the cautionary measures to basically preserve your own life and your own well-being, and that's where I am right now. And to the point that again, look, I think of the Bible verses about, if one wants to strike you, turn your other cheek, and then it happened twice. So basically, I don't have any more cheeks to give. You've crossed the line twice now. You know what I mean?
She's got both your cheeks. Yeah.
That's it. Now it basically went to that point in the return.
Right.
Everyone has their breaking point, and basically it's now to the point where now I need you to leave my life. It has to be
right.
You have to leave my life. It's for my own well-being, for my own for safety measure, for my own preservation, for my own mental state. I mean, there'll be times where she again, about the shifting of the blame and the deflecting. She would say, here's the funny thing. There's times where that they will do this, and it actually is true. Yet you don't want to. You're so upside down, inside out. You don't know what's the truth and what's not the truth. She would say, "You're sick. You're crazy." And you know what? Because she drove me crazy. I'm telling you, I'm not like this. I was not like this before. The thing is, you said something else that was very poignant in some of your videos. It's not wanting to get back to who you were when you met them or just before you met them. You want to get better so you never fall for this again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I don't want to get back to that, because I'm now wanting to learn the lesson, and my eyes are wide open. And
right.
I want to get to a point where I'm more skeptical to the point of trying to know and investigate who I'm going to let in my life. I do want to make sure I walk that balance where I don't become, like you said, paranoid, or basically allow that to then carry over to other relationships I have now that it's not warranted. You know what I mean? This is a very, and I don't know, again, it's going to vary for each person as they go through their stages of grief and getting through. I just know that this is really throw me asunder, and that God led me to you and to this community. I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for your time responding back to some of my comments. So again, my name is Antonio Silva III, and thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'll leave you to it, and bless you, and thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you got it. Bye.
Yeah, it was great call. I really appreciate every now and then getting perspective from another gentleman. I know we know men are going through this too. This is not a gender specific issue, and it can really be crushing. Just really be crushing, especially when you have a desire to have peace and to love. It's the same, for all genders involved in this, and it can really just be a nightmarish thing. And when it starts to get physical, that's when you're getting into a point of no return. You either get out or it's going to progress. And abuse is progressive. I talk about this in the course that I have out there. Abuse is progressive. What starts off with narcissists, what starts off as the evil stare, or whatever it is, once they see how that works, then it goes to the derogatory comments, then it goes to the name calling, then it goes to the shouting, then it goes to something else, but then physicalness comes into it. And they will continue to test those boundaries. And it can become very scary, especially when you're in a position of knowing that you're being pushed. You're being pushed, and you're trying to stop it. You're trying to stand up for it. You're trying to find peace. And this is when you have to get out of the relationship and realize you're not with somebody who wants peace anymore. You're with somebody who is narcissistically just in tune to the challenge of trying to drag out of you this competition, this fight, so they can see if they really are powerful. And it's really sad. It is really sad. There's no love. The love is gone. It's just a competition. You've got to be able to know that, okay, this is not what a relationship is. Your responsibility in this relationship is not to be that adversary. Your responsibility is to be a person of love, of kindness, of genuineness. And so you get out of the relationship, deal with the hurt that it caused, but be able to heal to the point of going back out into relationships again, being loving and generous and kind, but smarter, not getting too attached. That's the whole thing. We need to stop getting attached to these people as though we need something. We got a call from Texas. How are you, Texas?
Hi.
Hey, what's going on?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I hope everyone's doing okay out there. The lost caller definitely seemed to be in the anxiety fight or flight component.
Oh, is that right?
That's how it seemed to me, and I understand it because you rattle on and you say too much,
Absolutely.
But not to say you did, but you could hear it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm having trouble lately. I've called you a few times lately, and I know you're a busy man because you're helping a lot of people.
What's going on?
But it seems like you're looking down the road and you're trying to plan and vision your life, your new life, which you're maybe not a spring chicken, and you're visualizing something better and
Right.
trying to do that. And
Right.
and when I was going to leave, I had an older daughter that said that, Mom, I can't do another year of this. And both of my children have lost the abuse, and I tried to cover up what I could or whatever, but you know how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering, like, at this point, it seems like he's won her over, and she has started taking out the anger on myself,
Mm.
And her little brother, she was with her dad because of the something she does, and she has been that direction. And my son gets in the car and he is very angry at his sister and said that he doesn't want her for a sister anymore.
Right.
And and then she gets on the phone and is just very angry at me, and I feel like I'm taking the ramifications for whatever this guy does for a very long time though.
Right. Right.
And I'm not really sure. I don't feel fully equipped to deal with like this all the time.
Well, we're not.
Because I'm trying to.
Right. Yeah, you're trying to move on and heal, and you have constant reminders, right, of everything that's going on. And I know that we've talked in the past, and this is situations can be very difficult for you. Your time with your children is going to just have to be about you and your children. And as far as fighting,
it's about over, Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. It feels like it's about over, and I have given my heart and soul, and I think my biggest mistake was maybe sharing why I left with my children a little too much. And I just shared why I left, not so much as a bashing session, but I felt that, hey, such a extreme exit, they might need to know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm not sure, like, how to, go forward. I hear both of me. I'm not sure how to, like, quiet that down so I can hear you better and not myself.
Oh, you can hear yourself?
I can hear myself too much where I'm having, and that every time I've ever called, it's like I feel that, and I have a hard time concentrating. Anyway.
Oh, I apologize. I'm not exactly sure how to fix that.
That's okay. I just want to heal, and I don't want to continue this like with my child or with anything. I'm ready to be done with it.
Right. Right.
And I don't know how to go forward without, the continuum of
it would seem to me, again, being in the position of a mother, do you have sole custody or no?
No.
Okay.
She's 16, almost 17.
Okay, so really,
And
all you can do really as a mother, especially 16, 17, they're getting up there in their teenage years, and getting ready to
yeah,
go out on their own life. All you can do is just be available, and
yeah.
but be available with boundaries. So you're actually in a great position to be available, but with boundaries. Okay,
Okay.
your mom, you're available for this and this if they need guidance or have questions or need help, and maybe you can help them out. Maybe you can't. If they get in trouble, mommy,
Yeah.
can you give us money? You have every right to say no. I don't have that to give you. Go
Yeah,
and go and
I do
go and
that because the
tell
other.
them to go build a lemonade stand for crying out loud.
All
Go
right.
go get a lawnmower and cut some grass. Get some money.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
I don't have money for you. Okay, you're a teenager, right? So that type of stuff. So have boundaries, but if they want to talk to you about dad or this and that, no. But if they want to hang out with you, go do something with you, go to the gym with you, be open to that, right? And that's all you can
Well,
do.
it's been
Then
a
that's all you
year,
can do.
but it seems like the anger just continues to grow instead of any. Like she'll go over that way and everything's good, come over my way, and it's like there's a problem because I care. I'm going to be messed with because I care. I don't really understand.
It's hard. You're gonna have to break that. Yeah. If you're angry because they spend time with their dad and then come with you and come over with you, you're gonna have to understand that this is just something part of what you're struggling with, right?
No, it's not that I'm angry. It's not that I'm angry that they're with their father. It's that that there's been no positive effort this way. It's like a team weighing out, hey, where am I going to get the most out of, and that's what it feels like to me.
Right. So that's where you just set boundaries. Set your boundaries. But
Yes, I
part of the
have.
anger is that you're going to have to let go of your desire for it to be different. This is the problem. This is the problem that we all have. We get into this we get into this desire, which can also be an expectation. We want it to be a certain way and look a certain way and people to act a certain way. It's not. It's never going to. This is where we have to really press in. There's a prayer, the serenity prayer, and it says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and to change the things I can, and the courage to know the difference, right? So you can't change the attitudes and the actions of somebody else. You just can't. But you can change yourself, your response to it, whether or not you allow it around you. But it takes courage to be able to make those changes. It's a lot easier to just be mad and say, why aren't you the way I want you to be?
No,
So we have to
you're
watch
nailing
that.
it right now, actually. Yeah. No, actually, you couldn't have said it any better. That's perfect. That's exactly it.
Listen,
Because
here's the thing. Yeah, but when you get past that point, and it takes a while. Listen, when I consider the royal we right now, which is a great, fantastic, huge family, and it's amazing to be a part of this family. But there was a time when all I wanted was just that small little family, that family with my siblings, with my in-laws. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to fit in. I wanted to be a part of that family, but I couldn't. And that was my expectation. We'll all get along. We're a family. Come on, let's not fight one another. But that's what they wanted to do. That's their lifestyle. And who am I? Who am I? Who am I to go in? Yeah. And so who am I to go in and say, no, you can't live like that? Now, if they have a heart to change and they decide, you know what, it's not worth it. Yeah, we thought we were cool and bad and being bullies, but now we realize how important family is. Then we can sit down and say, hey, listen, this isn't going to happen. This isn't going to happen. Don't bring the cussing and name calling. Yeah, but if it doesn't happen, hang on. But if it doesn't happen, I've had to let it go because it hasn't happened. I've had to let it go. And here's what I get in return, though. I have a huge family, and so do you. We have a family here at the Royal We. I have more people. I have more people I can talk to on a daily basis than ever. And it's deep and it's sincere and it's genuine and it's healing. And this is a great family. This is family. It doesn't.
I
So
just want to stop being so needy and help out because I know the situation. I've read about it extensively. I've listened to all of you, although it doesn't show up on my, but I've listened to, as much as I can, just trying to learn and figure it out.
But that's it. You gotta let go of that expectation and press towards what you do have and what you're building.
Can I ask you something else? Why is it that, there's a lot of things that you plan, they just don't go like that way. And looking back, I can see why this relationship didn't. It wasn't my choice. It was kind of like, man,
Yeah.
This must really be special to, just push it and the flowers and the this and that. And then the treatment later was completely contradictory. So, how do you get past that point to where it's your children and you just got to let them figure it out on their own. And what I'm worried about is it transfers to them, That's what I'm worried about.
What are you worried about?
It transferring to my children. Because both of my children, through my reactions to this garbage,
your children are their own people. They're going to grow into their own people. Again, they're going to grow into their own beliefs and their own views. No matter what I do. No matter what you do, and no matter what their dad does. He could say all kinds of garbage about you, but they're gonna form their own opinions, okay? And as they go on in life. This is why it's so important for you to focus on what you enjoy, set your boundaries, but be there, but with boundaries.
I told you this before the other time I called, with my children, they see me alone. And they see his family, which, we've, pretty much built what they have, a lot of what they have for them. And when I met them, they weren't like me. I was just a little bit more like, I don't know, I was in the scene. And to me, it's like they changed my appearance, clothing, and, how their house looks, but there's nothing inside that's any different,
Right.
And I can say I've known people for that many years, and I don't know who they are really,
Right.
And for people to cut your, just say, that's your husband, and their, his family and friends cut you off, and I know that you're not supposed to care what people think about you, but these aren't my two babies,
It hurts.
And I guess maybe that would be considered holding on too tight, huh?
It's an issue. It is something that we all deal with. It's something that we struggle with. Somebody once asked me the question, Kevin, you're a father. What if your kids left one day? What if they grew up and left and never came back? And I thought about it for a minute, but I had to be honest and say, listen, I would hope that I did a good job and they would be blessed, and that's it. And if I never see them again, then I would. That's it, because my responsibility is done. And so you're gonna have to you're gonna have to face it. You're gonna have to face this at some point where you realize your responsibility is done. And after the responsibility, but wait a minute, after the responsibility,
and the attention wasn't put on them like it should have been.
Okay, so you're dealing with guilt, and that's a separate issue. And I suggest you go through counseling, do whatever you have to do to get rid of the guilt, and because you did the best that you could. And you can still continue to do.
Well, there was a video where you said you did the best you could, but did they?
You can still.
Did
I can't answer that for you, but again, this goes back to guilt that you could be feeling. So get that guilt dealt with. You don't have to be guilty, okay?
Yeah.
But you can make the changes now to become who you need to be, but with boundaries. One of the things that we mess up in is overcompensating. And out of the guilt of whatever you think you did or didn't do, you can live a life overcompensating for that, and you'll drive yourself mad, and you'll drive your children mad. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You want to accept them.
How did you get out of that?
Well, you don't look at them as little kids anymore, first of all. Don't look at them as little 5-year-olds that you hurt and bruised, because they're not now. They're teenagers. They have different issues. They're not even thinking about what happened when they were 5 or 6 or 7. I guarantee it. They're thinking about
they're
thinking about what's cool and who am I dating and what's going to happen, and they're thinking what teenagers think, like what you thought when you were a teenager. So if you want to make so don't make up. Yeah, you can't make up for lost time and treat them like they're 5 and give them everything and spoil them and buy them ice cream cones every day because you didn't do that when they were 6. You have to forgive. You have to forgive yourself. You got to forgive yourself for that, and meet them where they're at.
Myself, Kevin, what I'm trying to forgive myself for, not to interrupt you, really, please don't. But what I'm trying to forgive myself for is tolerating that as long as I did, and reacting the way I did, and responding the way I did. Not because they didn't have all those stupid things, like ice cream and too many toys, and too many things. But it wasn't things that they were missing. It was time, quality time.
And you can still give them that. You can still give them.
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's a lot of resistance, because we get accustomed to what we get accustomed to.
Time is not good time unless it's time that's desired, unless they want the time with you. So if you're finding resistance,
I didn't think of it that way.
But it's true. I mean, how would you feel if you were forced to go and hang out with somebody? Would you respect that?
No, I don't. No.
Would you honor them? No. So this comes back to letting them go. If you find resistance, if you find
going on in my head, letting go.
If you have to, right? I know. If you have to find if you're coming face to face with resistance, then it's time to back off. Right.
Okay.
And
Thank you. But hey, that's what I needed to hear. Just that right there.
But it's time
because I did.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Set boundaries.
Really.
But be available.
Yeah.
Be available.
Okay.
That's what being a good person is. That's what being a loving person is be available. But with boundaries so that you're not.
I'm just responsible for whatever I say and do and how I react to any situation, not somebody else.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Because it's tough. Like, I didn't expect that kind of anger because she was like, I can't do this no more. She saw the stare that he talked about and you talked about.
Right.
She witnessed the other abusive behavior, and she didn't want to be there no more. And since I've been here, of course, the atmosphere is different. So
you're you're doing all right. You're in the right path, and it's painful. It's a painful process. It's a painful process.
It is a painful process. Thank you. Hey,
keep in touch.
I'm straightening out some things, and
right.
it's a lot, and so when I do, I'm definitely on board. You just got to give me a little more time.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely a supporter of yours.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling too.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, rock on, Kev. Thanks.
All righty. Bye. Dealing with children is probably the most difficult thing that you can do, especially if you struggled with them being older, letting them move on. That transitional phase between where they really need you and where they don't really need you, it's difficult as it is. And this is why it's so important as parents, and I have to remind myself of this too, to really utilize the time that we have to the best of our ability with them. I have to remind myself all the time. My boy's 5, my daughter's 3. I've got a limited amount of time to really be an instructor and to instill and to guide. And I've got a little bit of time where they want to jump on me and hang on me and all this stuff that sometimes I think is a little annoying. But I've got a little bit of time, and I'm sure a lot of you who have grown children can attest. Yeah, it's annoying, but you only have a little bit of time, Kevin, because there's going to come a day where that's going to stop. They're not going to desire to jump on me anymore. They're not going to desire to take my lead or guidance. They're not. They're going to want to go out and experience it on their own. This is normal and natural human behavior. They're supposed to. They're supposed to reach an age where they go and they disappear from the home and they leave the mom and dad. This is the natural order. And they find spouses. They find their place in this world, in this temporary life. They find their place, okay? And that has nothing to do with me or mom, except for what we're doing while they're babies, while we're guiding them now. And I think at that time where they do decide to go on, the thing that's going to be the struggle is that question, did I do enough? And did I do enough when they were younger? That's going to be the battle for a lot of us. It's going to be the battle. And thank you for listening. Thank you for the telephone calls. I got some texts here, and I'm not sure if this text that just came in is a question or not, but let me find out. And the telephone line is open. You guys are welcome to call. It's from San Antonio. Where did it come from? Well, your videos on triangulation made so much sense. It's cool that you give a number to reach out. It's not a question, more of a story. So yes, that is very difficult. And with that, how's everybody doing in the community tonight? Talking about, I see Antonio hanging out. That's good. That's good. Parents were not there. Yeah, keep on. I'm glad that you guys are all here tonight. Thank you so much. Beautiful Hummingbird, I saw you come in late, but it's glad that you're here. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, everybody's doing good. That's good. Talking about young adults. Hi, Tanya. How are you? Hi, Dee. Moderators in the house. Taylor, what's going on? Can we talk about the soulless eyes, the glare they give, empty eyes? Yeah, absolutely. This is something that, I actually wanted to include this in a video that I was making, but it's way outside of my area of expertise, but I'll bring it up. Now, there is a soulless eyes, and it's absolutely real. The soulless eyes is real. And when you experience it, when you first experience that narcissistic stare and you get that glare and you see that soullessness, it can almost be piercing. And I want to come back to that, but I do want to share a story with you. I was probably 14 years old, and living in California. I was walking, going for a walk. I was by myself. Very scary thing that happened to me, and I'll never forget it. A white van pulled up. I was walking out on a pretty big road close to where I lived. White van pulled up and stopped alongside of the curb, and the window rolled down, and there was a man looking at me, and I'll never forget him. He had this curly hair and these eyes that looked at me, and it said, "Hey, kid, come here," and something to that extent. I'll never forget the look in the eyes. It's almost as if his eyes were open, but it looked like something blinked. It disturbed me. I froze in place, like something glossed, just something glossed over the eyes. I didn't move. I froze, which you're not supposed to do. It was a very real situation. I have no idea what this guy wanted. And I just started walking, and thank goodness there was a liquor store up ahead, and I kept walking, and he drove off. And something just shook my spirit, about that situation. But there's, going back to the eyes, the glare of narcissists, you can tell that there's a hatred, animosity, and emptiness. I have a lot of friends who are police officers, also court judges, especially in California, and they would often talk about in the courtroom when they were dealing with criminals. And I was friends with the judge, a very, very old gentleman, very nice gentleman. We actually went shooting together at Front Sight. We took firearms training together. Really old. He was in his 80s, retired judge, late 80s, and really just real still active. But the stories he would tell about the courtroom and the people that he was a criminal judge, and the people that he came across, and he absolutely told me, he attested to the fact that looking into the eyes of a lot of these people that came into the courtroom, it was as if nobody was there. Just a glossed over look. Nothing behind the eyes. Real eerie when you look at them. Very eerie, he said. And so it's very real. And now I had looked into brain activity for a while, and one of the things I came across was a video talking about how they scanned, and this is the area that's outside of my expertise, but I've talked about this before, but they've scanned the brain activity of the criminally minded individuals, and they found out that their prefrontal cortex in a lot of these individuals doesn't have the functionality of a normal person's prefrontal cortex. And my kids are crying right now. I'm gonna have to wrap this up. I think they're having a hard time going to bed. But the prefrontal cortex is not fully functioning. It's not fully developed, and they discovered this with criminals by scanning their brains. Very interesting how there can be actually a correlation between the spiritual aspect of it and the functioning of the prefrontal cortex of the brain, which can also have an effect. And since that's right there on the front, it's really wild. But you can tell a lot by looking into somebody's eyes. And what's wild is that when you deal with narcissists in the beginning, you can't really see it. But I believe that with narcissists, and it's because you're so blinded by the desire of the whole thing. Narcissists are great magicians. Look over here, let's have fun, let's do this. And they keep you so busy and so occupied that you don't take the time to really look and to see and to have those deep, meaningful conversations with them. I know I didn't. I just assumed getting into the relationship with the siblings, I assumed that they were deep, genuine individuals. Never had a deep conversation, but I was so caught up in all the fun that they had to offer. Come over, let's do this. Let's have drinks. Let's play this game. Let's play poker. Constant go, 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 go is what it was with the narcissist. And so you're so busy getting caught up in doing everything that it's in the moment where you're not doing anything, and when they start to launch their attack and you see it, you see the emptiness in their eyes, and you're like, whoa, where'd this come from? Well, it was there the whole time. It's just that you were distracted by all the superficial talk. Exactly. You were distracted by all the superficial stuff. You failed to notice it. And this is what we can no longer do. Going into the future, we have to start to pay attention. Pay attention to their eyes. Pay attention to what's coming out of them. The ancient Hebraic people wrote in the scriptures for us that, it's out of the heart. What comes out of the mouth is what's in the heart. For out of the heart of a man, the mouth speaks. And so really pay attention to what's coming out of their heart. Is it pure? Is it good? Is it edifying? Or is it corrupt, perverse, disgusting? Things of worldliness, desire, anger, hostility, arrogance. And if it is these things, then based on what we've been told in 2 Timothy, have nothing to do with these people. Nothing. No thing. Doesn't matter how cute they look. For you ladies, it doesn't matter how charming they are. Their plastic smile, slick back hair, muscles, whatever, have nothing to do with them. You men, doesn't matter how the girl comes on to you or whatever, makes you feel good, nurturing, this and that, doesn't matter. Pay attention to the eyes and what's coming out of the mouth, what's coming from the heart, because that is who and what you're dealing with, right? And so thank you for that question, Tanya. I do appreciate that. And that's absolutely right, Andrea. Satan comes out as an angel of light. That's right. And for those of you, the story of Lucifer or Satan or the devil, the different names, is that he was at one time a very beautiful angel and was cast down and can definitely appear as that light that's desirable. And he's a thief and a liar, and it's all a lie. And that's what the enemy does, is present us with lies. Very tempting lies. And so we have to be smart. And you have to be able to approach your relationships understanding, is there a tempting lie taking place here in this exchange? Right? So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and sign out right now, as it's getting to be that time. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to put the music on for, if it will play here. Put the music on for Tanya, doot, 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 and for Taylor. Thank you so much for being here. I want to thank you guys for joining the Royal We Live tonight. Every Monday night we'll be here, 9 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Be sure to invite your friends. Also know that the Royal We Live, yes, Tanya, know that the Royal We Live is Patreon supported. So for those of you who are not yet supporting through Patreon, consider being a supporter. The goal is to get to 300 Patreons so we can do this every single night. And we will be back here next Monday. Also, subscribe and like the Royal We Organic channel, just the Royal We. Be sure to check out the video on revenge. And look for the video coming out this week also on exposing the narcissist, exposing the lies. A lot to say on that. Thank you so much for being here. We will see you live next Monday night right here on the Royal We.